All right, it says we're live. Hopefully it's true. Yeah, looks like everything's okay. Okay, I see the picture starting up here on the screen. Let me see if I can adjust the light a little. That's a little dark. One sec. That might be a little better. Yeah, it's a little better. Hey, how you? Okay, I think that's Jim Dabrowski. I can't tell. I gotta wait for the chat to pop up here on my big screen. Browski J1. Okay, thanks. I gotta imagine that is Jim. Good to see you, man. You changed your name. Ken Brescia from Tennessee. Steve Steele, hello back to you. How you doing? Hugh Merrill's on here. Good to see you. Tim Schloud's on here as well. So poll's going. We're going to jump right into the topic tonight. If you want to stick around for a fishing report after this, you're welcome to. But I want to get right into this because it is Thursday night and people have better things to do. So poll is going. Skip all these ads. I'll let a couple more people jump on here and then we'll jump right into this. Get that out of the way. Joe Wilbon, good to see you. SBG from Southern Illinois, good to see you. Todd Nicodemus from Lake Ontario, good to see you, Todd. Patrick Johan from GRC Trolling Products is on here, good to see you, Patrick. All right, let's get right into this topic. So here it is, breakdown for you. I promised this a couple days ago. I didn't mean to freak anybody out, but I had quite a few people email me asking what the heck was going on. So here's the breakdown, the easiest way I can put this. So I'm going to stay neutral on this tonight. I'm just going to give you what I know. I'm not going to try to influence you or lead you one way or the other. It's up to you to make up your own mind on this topic. It may not affect you at all. If it does, do a little research, make up your mind on how you proceed with that. But I'm going to stay neutral on that. So somebody just super chatted. Huey Merrill, thanks, man. Appreciate that. That's one towards the goal. Much, much appreciated. But yeah, I'm going to stay neutral. I'm just going to give you what I know. Give you ways to voice your opinions one way or the other, depending on which way you lean on this thing. And like I said, if it doesn't affect you at all, then you got nothing to worry about. But a few days ago, I guess it's almost a week and a half ago or so now, I was contacted from somebody from the Manistee City Council. And that person indicated that there was a possible proposal coming up soon to limit or to implement, rather, a no-wake zone on Manistee Lake. And he indicated that he knew that some people had been talked to about it, but then he thought, you know, there's all these people over at Pier 31, which is where I slip my boat, just for full disclosure. That's where I keep mine. And all of those people, especially all the charter captains, may be strongly affected by this no-wake zone. And the way that he explained it to me was that the no-wake zone would be implemented from the nose. If you look up on Google Earth, you'll see Manistee Lake. If you look from the nose of the city of Milwaukee, rather, from the nose of the city of Milwaukee to where the channel starts. So going into the channel that leads out to Lake Michigan. A no-wake zone would be implemented in that area. When I asked how far, and that would run essentially north to south. When I asked how far to the east that no-wake zone, where that water would be affected, that was unknown. So whether it's from just the nose of the ship to the channel, or whether it's actually further to the east, which would affect not only Pier 31, but potentially all the travelers coming in and out of the Manistee River RV Resort, because that could potentially affect the Manistee River outlet. That could be affected as well. And when I asked, of course, what's the reasoning behind this, he didn't have a whole lot of information. I mean, I'm not gonna. Somebody just super chatted. Dave Chevalier, good man. Hey, thanks, Dave. Appreciate that, dude. So nice of you. So of course I had questions. Like I said, full disclosure, I slip at Pier 31. This will obviously affect me in a negative way. I'll talk about that here in a second. Again, I don't want to mislead anybody in any way. I'm just going to give you my side of the story, and I'm always open to other people's side of the story on this as well. That's why I want to see the chat here. So my questions was, of course, why now? Why is this now being implemented? There wasn't a whole lot of information there. I asked, of course, who implemented this? my suspicions were a certain business, but I didn't get much information on that. And it wasn't because this person was not forthcoming with the information, just they didn't have a whole lot of information as well. They were in the dark on a lot of things. So, he asked me, how would this affect you being at Pier 31? And I said, as a charter captain, of course, it's going to add additional time to my day, both going through the lake and coming back through the lake. And that could be as much as 15 to 20 minutes per excursion, going out and coming back, which could add potentially a half hour to 40 minutes to my trip every day. So we all know the most important time when you're fishing is not getting to your spot. It's getting on that spot and being on that spot. So that would cut into my customer's time potentially 30 to 40 minutes every day. That takes away 30 to 40 minutes every day of potential fishing time for that group. Now, we all know that fishing is a very, very competitive sport, or competitive in a way that if you're a charter captain, you got a lot of competition out there trying to, take as many customers as they can for their business. I'm trying to do the same. Repeat customers is a huge thing. So when you start implementing things that could potentially draw people away from your business, of course, that's going to get people's attention. So, I asked, of course, when will this be voted on by the city council? He said there hadn't even been an agenda put out yet. It hasn't even really come up as a proposal yet. But the information that I have now is that it's not going to be voted on or discussed in one of the city council meetings, but rather it's going to be discussed at one of the harbor council meetings. And I've been told the next meeting, which it's going to be potentially on the agenda, and by potentially I mean I'm like 99% sure it's going to be on that agenda. It just hasn't been released yet for whatever reason, which is a little mind-boggling to me why you wouldn't want to put an agenda out as quickly as you can. But this meeting is supposed to take place on the 28th of October, which, if I'm right, that's next Tuesday. Yep, that's next Tuesday. So their plan, and I don't have the time yet on that. I don't have any information other than that it's going to be on the 28th. Most likely on that date, during that meeting, this issue will be discussed. And there should be time for an open forum discussion for anybody that wants to speak how they feel on this matter. So if this is something that affects you in a certain way, obviously I strongly encourage you to be at that meeting, or at the very minimum, contact the city council, contact somebody that wants to listen to your voice. And from what I understand from, of course, the councilman that I talk to, they are always open. They are always open to people being able to call and discuss. They don't have a dog in this fight in one way or the other. The councilman I talked to was very, very had a very good open ear, and I could tell that this person was very neutral on the matter. Like I said, they're not trying to push us one way or the other. This agenda is not coming from the city council. It's not coming from the city. From what I understand, it's coming from a private. It's either a private person or a private organization, potentially within that area where that no wake zone is going to be. So I have my suspicion who it's going to be. I'm pretty darn sure I'm right who it is. But I'm going to leave it at that. I'll let you guys do your own detective work on that as well. So how would this no wake zone, and when I think about that, what would that no wake zone be protecting? I'll let you guys do your own detective work here, but if you look at the map and if you look at anything to the west of where that no wake zone is, where that no wake zone would be, what would that be protecting? Well, there's been condos there for years and years and years, and that's never been an issue. There is a new business there. New business just opened up last year. Would boats traveling across that waterway potentially damage their property? And I think to myself, my gosh, we travel, it's got to be several hundred yards that we're offshore when we're traveling. We're not right up next to the beach. We're not right up next to any business or condo. We're several hundred yards offshore and we're traveling. And I'm trying to think, I'm almost certain that I think a strong wind would cause more wake or more waves than our boats would, but that's my opinion, and that's something I'll discuss at that meeting on the 28th. I plan on being there to discuss this thing and let my opinion be heard. So you guys know the old saying, power in voices, power in people. So if this affects you in some way, come to the meeting. If you can't make it to the meeting, you want your voice heard, contact the city council, make a phone call, send them an email, something that anything that you want to either be read or at least discussed, send that to them. They're going to listen to that. They're a non-biased group. I give them credit to at least reach out to all of us entities that may be affected by this. I give them a lot of credit for that. So they could have just let this thing go unheard, possibly made some changes, and none of us ever would have known. But they actually took the time to reach out to potential business owners that this may affect, and I give them a lot of respect for that. So let's open this up for questions. I'll give you all the information that I have on this. Again, I don't have anything concrete on this other than what my speculation. And again, I'm trying to stay neutral in this as I can. I'm just talking to you from a business owner's perspective, how it would affect me, and maybe how it would affect somebody else. So anyway, let's open it up. Let's see what you guys got here. I'd like to read some of these comments that are coming in. How many people we got on here? We got about 60 people. I appreciate everybody being here, by the way. So salty waters certain times of the year. So that's another thing that was asked by the city councilman to me. If I was opposed to the no wake zone, what proposal or what changes would I make that may make everybody happy? And my thought was, just extend it a little further to the south. Maybe make it maybe start a little further south towards the middle of the lake, extend it a couple hundred yards so that we could still travel the majority of the length of the lake at our speeds, so we can get across there in a timely manner. So maybe there's some changes there, some ideas we could alter some of the some of the parameters on this thing. I am interested to see what everybody else says also. Tim Schlad, you wrote your letter to Wes today. Wes Smith is the name of the councilman that I spoke to on the phone. So yeah, that's his name. That's the guy who reached out to me directly. If you want to contact Councilman Smith, I actually put the link to the Manistee City Council in the description on this video, so it's easy for you guys to find. Their phone numbers, everything is right there. So you can hop down there and check that out if you need to. Dave Chevalier, that's something I thought as well. SPG, is this response to wake boats? No, it's not just response to wake boats, because wake boats, when I think of wake boats, I'm thinking of fast-moving boats rather. This is in response to every boat. So whether you have a 10-foot rowboat that's got a motor on it, whether you got a 31-foot Tierra like I do that's causing a wake, everyone on that would be forced to minimize their wake to a no-wake standard. A no-wake standard is, if you look at the law, a no-wake standard is nothing more than really a ripple on the water. And we all know that it doesn't take more than a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind to put more than a ripple on the water. So, Chris Olson, you think the DNR, Coast Guard would be involved, local sheriff? Possibly. But if it's a city council issue, it would be my understanding then it would be a city ordinance for that no-wake zone, enforceable by the Coast Guard, DNR, etc. So that's the way I look at this. Eric Sunsets, am I reading that right? Most charter boats aren't rolling coal ever because of fuel costs. Yeah, it's not like we're jumping on, we're up to 40 miles an hour across there. We're just getting up to speed. And the majority of us, I'd say the vast majority of us, slow down well before we get to the big boat, the city of Milwaukee anyway. Because we need to come around the city of Milwaukee. There's a bunch of condos right there. Even though they have no wake signs out there, it's not legally a no wake zone. It has not been deemed that by the DNR, state of Michigan in any way. But out of respect, we all slow down for those condos anyway, which we do when we're passing boats out there. Although I hear horror stories out there sometimes, somebody not playing nice, but the majority of us always play nice out there. Okay, here we got you. And then again, also think of it this way. Another aspect of this I didn't talk about was the local boater out there, whether it be person just running around trolling for walleye. They want to get to their spot. They want to get out there jigging. All of that area now, if you launched out of Arthur Street launch, all of that area would be affected by this. So you would have to go no wake for, again, it's an undisclosed amount of distance. How far to the east that no wake zone's gonna limit you. So you may have to go no wake halfway across Manistee Lake now. I don't know. That's another issue that hasn't been brought forth. So. Scott Krieg, how can the city make a ruling on a public waterway? Again, I believe it's going to be brought up as a city ordinance. They can make that ruling. Salty walrus fishing. So is my motorized kayak at 7 miles an hour, leaving 2-inch ripples, still considered no wake? That's in the eye of the person looking at that wake. If you look up the letter of the law on this, and you can jump online, you can look up Michigan laws, you can look up Michigan DNR laws. If you look up the description on the laws, you can see what it says. It constitutes a wake on a waterway. So it really depends on who's reading that law and how they interpret it. I guarantee you ask 10 people, you show them that law or that description on that law, you're going to get 10 different answers on what they think a no wake or a wake is. So I have no doubt even if they don't implement this, you're still going to get phone calls from people saying that these wakes out here could be potentially dangerous, hazardous to business property, hazardous to personal properties, because it's all in the person that's interpreting that law and how they're interpreting it. So I encourage everyone on here, if you don't know the description on a wake, look it up on the Michigan laws. Does anyone water ski in the lake very often? No, not very often, but every now and then. And that would be considered a wake. Water skis are considered wake forming, so absolutely. Water skiing is allowed on the lake, yes. Yeah, Tim Schlott, yeah. You see tubers, skiers, jet skiers out all the time. Yep, all the time. No accident caused on the lake by a wake in any way. No property damage that I'm aware of. No accidents that I'm aware of, except for a couple years ago there was a boat that ran into another boat out there in the pitch dark, and that was the only one I've ever heard of. That was a boat crossing the lake, struck another boat that was very poorly lighted. So that was not the basis on this. So too far along and too rare. So that's not the basis on this. Yeah, that's the question there, Salmon Stalker, and that's pretty much what I was saying earlier. What is the issue? What has changed? It's like when I'm working on a motor. Say something goes wrong on my engine, on either my car or my boat or whatever. What the first thing I look at is what just changed. What did I just do on this that might have changed or caused this problem? So it's the same thing that I look at here. What just changed on Manistee Lake that could potentially be the squeaky wheel, for lack of a better word, bringing up this issue? And I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Money talks, BS walks. Yeah, Scott Krieg. Yeah, to a point. Voices are loud and voices are heard. So nobody's getting rich off this. I guarantee you nobody in the city council is getting their pockets lined by this. Let's not go down that road. It's not that at all. There is no bribery, or there is no under the table movements being made. The city council is a very neutral entity in this whole thing. They're not listening to whoever this person might be because they potentially have more money in their bank account than all the rest of us, or me, or whoever. This is just anybody can make a potential proposal at these meetings, or at these harbor meetings. So it's not a money thing. But again, if you want to fight against this, if you're on the opposite side of this, the more voices that are heard, the more powerful that is. So again, I'm going to stress that again. Contact the city council here in Manistee. Contact them by email. You can call them. You can show up at the meeting. You can do all of the above. You can do more. Do what you need to do if you're against this. If you're pro for this, you can do the same. Again, I'm not jumping on one side or the other here. I'm going to try to remain as neutral as I can on this issue. But if you're for this issue, you can do the same. Contact the city council. Show up at the meeting. Send emails. Do what you have to do. Voices are strong. Okay. What else you guys got? We're up to about 70 people on here. If you got any other questions, feel free to shout them out on here. Again, I plan on being at the meeting on the 28th of October, next Tuesday. Once the agenda, pardon me, once the agenda is released, the meeting minute or the meeting time, everything like that, I will see if I can get a copy of it, and I will post it to my Facebook page. And if you're not following me on Facebook, you can do so. If you hop into this video's description, scroll all the way down to the bottom. My Facebook links are down there. Hop on there, follow me. I will get you that information as soon as I have it. So once it's in my hand, I'll put it on Facebook, okay? If I don't get it, I will put something on Facebook as much as I can. Time of the meeting, location, things like that. At least get people up to speed as much as I can. And when I talked to Councilman Smith yesterday, I asked, or I made the statement rather, that it was strange to me that the agenda hadn't been released yet. And he thought the same thing. And I'm not putting words in Councilman Smith's mouth in any way. He just agreed with me that it was kind of strange that the agenda hadn't been released yet. So once it is, you would think, if you're having a public meeting, you would think that you would try to put the agenda out as far before that meeting as you could. So more people could get the information. We're coming up on Friday, tomorrow, the 24th. And we're in 2-day weekend, and then the 23rd on Monday. That doesn't leave them a whole lot of time to get this information out there to the public regarding this potential meeting and potential opportunity to have your voices heard on what might be an important issue to you. All right. All right. Any other questions? Throw them up here on the comment chat, or you can always email them to me as well. I'd rather see them here. I can respond to them much faster here. Dave Chevalier seen 2 businesses get into it Saturday evening at that section of water. It was pretty interesting. Yeah, I bet it was. Pat Allen 769. And again, I'm trying to stay as neutral as I can, but charter fishing, let's not even talk about it that way. Let's talk about it in the sense of tourism. Manistee thrives on tourism. Absolutely. I don't care what anybody else says. I know for a fact Manistee's #1 source of income is tourism, especially throughout the summer months. And what brings the majority of tourists to Manistee is the fishing. That's 100% accurate. I guarantee that's 100% accurate. The majority of the money that comes in from people coming in to fish using hotel rooms, restaurants, local businesses, local shops, up and down the downtown area. All those shops benefit. All the businesses benefit. All the restaurants benefit. All the small shops, the coffee shops, you name it. They all benefit from the major fishing industry that exists here rather in Manistee. Fishermen, and I'm talking to everyone out there because I'm right, fishermen are very fickle. They are very, very, they can get butthurt pretty easily on some things. And if you start making it difficult for those people to be able to fish the areas that they want or use the charter boats that they want, if you start making it difficult for those things to happen, we all know that Manistee is not only in competition with itself, we're also in competition with a lot of other ports for tourism. And nothing against those other ports, because they'll agree with me also. Ludington, Frankfurt, Muskegon, you name it. We're all in competition with those other ports. And anything that can turn a person away from Manistee, and this could potentially do that, is detrimental to Manistee. That's just my point of view on it. And I'm telling you, I'm not staying very unbiased on this, and I apologize. But I'm telling you, if you start adding 30 to 40 minutes away from the water, fishing time on the big lake, due to a no wake zone, the charter businesses in Pier 31 are going to suffer. They're going to suffer more than anybody else. So, and that's not fair that multiple businesses should suffer. So one other one, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but so one other one could potentially have their way over something. I'll leave it at that. All right. All right. Brian Alexander. Yeah, I know you are, dude. You're definitely, you come up here for the fishing. I think if you asked 100 people, I would bet you 70 some of those people would tell you they come to Manistee for the fishing. I know Manistee's it's a lure, it's an attraction for, you know, people coming up, you know, for the water and boating and walking and, you know, all sorts of other things. But Manistee is a world-class fishery and people come here for that. So anything that is detrimental to that, and this is potentially detrimental to that, should be looked at very, very strictly. Okay? Yeah, Dan. Yeah, I hear you, Dan. Dan the mattress man. Good to see you on here too, buddy. That's what a lot of people look at is time. Time on the water absolutely is paramount to time to getting to your spot. Time on the water is what's important. All right. Let's check the poll numbers. There is a poll going on. If you haven't taken it yet, please do so. We got 52 votes on the poll rather. A no wake zone in Manistee Lake, on Manistee Lake, is a good thing. Yes or no? 48% say, I'm surprised it's actually this close. 48% say yes, 52% say no. And if you're a yes or a no, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down here in the comments. If you got the stones to put them down here in the comments, I'd love to read them. Love to read them. There's quite a few on here already, so I appreciate that, guys and gals. All right. Yeah, Day and I am also pretty close on it. The thing, though, is what I see on here right now, the poll is split almost 50-50, but I see mostly people talking about being against the no-wake zone here in the comments. If you're pro no-wake zone, please put them in the comments. I'd love to hear your point of view on this. I'm not gonna badmouth you in any way, and I'll make sure nobody else does as well. I'd love to hear what everybody has to say. This is a free place for people to talk about things. Okay. We'll leave it at that for right now for the topic on that. If you got more questions, more comments, please put them into the comment section. I'll give you a quick rundown on fishing, and then we'll get out of here. It's Thursday night. People want to watch football or go to bed or whatever they want to do. Drink copious amounts of alcohol. I don't know, whatever you do on Thursday nights. Fishing. Been on the river for the last week or so. We just got a ton of rain over the last couple of days. Steelhead are showing up in the river. Showing up in pretty decent numbers. A lot of skippers out there, but we did pick up some adults, which is nice to see. This rain is only going to help the system. I went down and I checked the river today because I did not fish, but I wanted to see what the rain did. The river is up. It's running strong, but it didn't blow out. It's not chocolate milk. I mean, that could change over the next day or two. All the streams and everything feeding into it. There could be a lot of dirt coming down yet, but what I saw today was pretty good visibility yet. So that's going to make for some pretty good fishing conditions here in the near future. I have no doubt that more steelhead are coming into that river daily. Not only that river, but I'm sure the PM, I'm sure the Little, I'm sure the Grand, the Muskegon, all the above, all the others. If you got rain, that's just going to be helping you out. So if you're getting out on the river over the weekend, I think you probably should do pretty well. I know there's steelhead in the bottom section, midsection, and a few up in the upper section also. If I was going to target a certain area right now in the river, it'd most likely be the lower section. I think there's going to be more steelhead in there. Coho Bend on down from there, maybe a Coho Bend up a little, but Coho Bend on down, I think it's going to be your hotter areas. Peach is hot right now with the dirtier water. You guys know me. I love the Nova soft beads. 10 millimeters are going to be running over the next few days because of the dirtier water. But the I think it's called the Goblin from Nova and the Booger Nose or Boogie Nose or something like that. They're more of a chartreuse color. Those are going to be really, really good in this darker water. So peach is always good this time of the year. The chartreuse colors as well. A bright orange as well is going to do pretty good for you. And as that dirt filters out throughout the river system, you know, we can switch back over to the more natural colors like subdued oranges. Nova tackles their soft beads. They have one called a 007 and one called a Secret Agent. This time of the year, both of those can be really, really good. So don't be afraid to run those when the water conditions clear up a little. Get out there and just get after them. The fishing's going to be pretty good. Going to be pretty good. All right. SBG, NFL game tonight. Who do the Lions have this week? Lions are on a bye, SBG. Lions are on a bye. Eric McGarry, am I saying that right? You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for watching the channel. I appreciate that. Vikes next week. Sawyer. We'll talk about that, man. There's help for you. There's therapy for you. Don't take me wrong. We all always have a good time on this page talking about football. We'll trash talk a little. All right, that's all I got. I plan on being back here next Sunday. Again, if you need any updates on what we talked about tonight, you're welcome to email me, but I will put out anything that I have on my Facebook page. Again, my Facebook link is in the video description. Hop on there, follow me. I'll put anything out there that comes out for you guys, okay? That's all I got. I'll leave it up here for a couple minutes for Q&A. We'll close the poll down here in a couple minutes also. But anything you got you want to talk about before we go, spit it out there. I'm here. Meeting time and date one more time. Don't have one yet. The 28th is all I know for a date. Time I don't have yet. Again, once I have a copy of that agenda, time, everything like that, I'll put it on my Facebook. Sawyer, how long till I can come troll for Kings again? You can do it right now, Sawyer. There's Kings out there. It hasn't gotten super cold out there yet. There's 2- and 3-year-olds out there still. Pick a good day. You can still troll out of Manistee for some Kings. You'll get some too. Pat Allen, you have a great evening also. Chris Olson, adios back to you. Hasta mañana. Hasta luego. See you tomorrow. I won't see you tomorrow though. All right. All right, close the poll down now. Ended up at 58% for no wake zone on Manistee Lake is a good thing. Yes, at 42%. No, at 58%. So still pretty close. I'm surprised it's that close. But hey, I respect it. Cadano, what's 3 length lead cores I would recommend? 5 to 10 color, absolutely for sure. 7 color as well. 5, 7, and 10. They are my most productive lead cores year in and year out. They'll fish any water, even if the temp break is down at 100 foot. I will still catch fish on that 5 color. So 5, 7, and 10. Randy Kruger, come down for the fall walleye. Randy, I would love to, dude. Love to. If I'm not running on the river every day, I would love to come down there. Pat Allen, appreciate that. Cheerleading for that like button. Yeah, if these videos help you out in any way, the minimum you can do is just hit the like button. It is appreciated. If you hadn't subbed yet, feel free to do that also. Cadano, you're welcome. Hope I'm saying that name right. Cadano. Cadano. All right. We're going to turn it off now. Thanks, everybody. Stay tuned. Stay informed. I'll put everything out there as I have it. If you want to be there at that meeting, I will see you there. If you can't and you still want your voice heard again, I'm going to strongly emphasize that you at least email or call to make your voices heard, okay? That's it. Appreciate it. See you guys.